What kind of content can you monetize on the YouTube platform today? There's a lot of confusion. There's content that is the best to monetize. There's content that's probably never, ever going to be able to be monetized. And then there's a huge gray area in between. So let's talk about it. I'm Rob, and I'm a YouTube product expert since 2011. And we're going to talk about what kind of content that you can monetize on your channel on YouTube today. Now, to me, the obvious best option, the clear-cut, without a doubt option, is 100% original content. Like this video that I'm making right now on this channel. I'm standing out here in my backyard and I'm talking to you, and everything is original. I'm me. The audio is original. There's no background music. There's no synthesized audio track. I'm not using any props or anything like that. It's just me talking to you. 100% original content. And that's going to be the best thing that you can put up on the YouTube platform. There's not going to be any question about you being able to monetize that. So that's safe. That's pretty darn obvious. Hey, call me Captain Obvious, but let's get that one out of the way. So what are some of the issues? What do we have to worry about? The confusion that happens is, I think there's different levels to what you can put on the YouTube platform. And a common situation that we hear is, well, that's not copyright content. I've got permission to use that content, that type of thing. And copyright is very, very important. Without a doubt, copyright's important on YouTube. And having permission to use everything in your video is important. But the thing is having permission, not using copyrighted content, having licenses, all those types of things, that makes you safe on the platform as far as the terms of service goes. You're not breaking any rules or anything like that. But monetization is another level, and you have to comply with more things to be able to be monetized. Just meeting the copyright guideline might not be enough to get you to the monetization guideline. And then the other thing that we have to think about is it's got to be advertiser friendly. And this is really getting to be critical. The people that are paying for the ads, the companies and the other parties that are buying ad space on YouTube, they have requirements for what they want their ads to run against. And I mean, that seems reasonable. That if you're paying for your ad to run on the platform, that you get a say in what type of content that your ad's running against. So copyright is one level that we all have to meet the terms of service and not break the rules. But if we want to monetize, we've got additional requirements, and we've got to be advertiser friendly. So that seems pretty reasonable and makes sense, right? So what's an example all the way at the other extreme? I just talked about this video being 100% original content would be 100% used content. And a great example of that would be something like public domain content. This is content that's never been or is no longer copyright protected. It's so old, or it's fallen out of copyright, whatever. And it's out there in the public domain for anybody to use pretty much any way that they want. And that's great. And again, so you're not violating copyright if you upload that to YouTube, but YouTube wants to have original content. And if you think about it, of course, you're not going to do this, but unfortunately, there's people out there, is you create a channel and you upload 100, bug, the joys of filming outside. You create a channel and you upload, say, 100 public domain videos to that channel. That might be okay, terms of service wise, but then you're going to want to go monetize that. Well, there could be another channel that has the same 100 videos, and unfortunately, there's people out there that create a channel, upload a bunch of public domain content, create another channel, upload the same public domain content, create another channel, and you end up with somebody that's got 100 channels with the same 100 videos on them, and obviously they shouldn't be able to monetize that because that's just reused content. They're not breaking the rules necessarily, but advertisers aren't going to want to spend money on that, and that's not going to cut it for that next level of monetization. So, makes sense? Original content, 100% great, you're good to go. 100% not original content, as an example, public domain, you're not going to be good to go. So then we've got the as you move from one side that's good to the other side that's bad, you've got that sliding grayscale in between. And there's not a definite line in the sand that you can go this far and you're okay, and one step over and you're not. It's really is gray, and it depends on so many different things. So we go back to this video is original content, and I'm just winging it as I go here. I've got bullet points on a piece of paper, and I got my reading glasses here so I can put it on and I read my notes. So the tricky thing that I do is I'm talking to you here, and then when I run out of what I want to talk about or I need another idea, I look over here at the second camera and say something interesting like, "What do you think?" And then I can cut off, and then I put my glasses on and I read my notes, and then I put it down, and then I start to talk to the camera. That's still all 100% original content, which is perfectly fine. But here's another example. Suppose I'm doing a review of a book, and I'm saying, I read this book, and it's a really good book, and this is the book, shoot video that doesn't suck, and I show you the cover, and then I talk about the book. That's going to be fine. You're still way over in the 99.5% good range. And then the more you talk about the book, if you start flipping and start talking about the parts and the chapters, if you actually open it up, and I don't have my glasses on, but you actually start to read something, you're getting closer and closer to that middle ground of using copyrighted content, which is that requirement with YouTube. And we'll talk about fair use in a little bit here. And then are you going to be able to be monetized? So that's the type of thing, as you start using more and more content in your video that's coming from someplace else, you might be pushing the limits of what is going to be able to be monetized. So you try to keep that stuff a low percentage as possible and keep as much of your video as original as it is as possible. So keep your percentage of used content to a minimum. So back to my notes. So another one that I see quite a bit of with people that can't understand why their videos can't be monetized, and it's typically, they call it reused content, is you make original content, and maybe you make music yourself, or like the audios. I'm talking about what I'm doing now, and it'd be like a podcast, where it's the audio track, and you just have up an image like this of, that's my thumbnail for this video, and I just have that image up for the entire time that I'm talking, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long a video ends up, and you just have a still frame while you're podcasting audio. The odds are you're going to have a very difficult time monetizing that. That's probably crossed that gray area line threshold, that if all of your videos on your channel are podcast style videos, you might not be able to get that monetized. And the other example, when I mentioned things like you put up music or soothing sounds or whatever, and you have a still frame on that too, Or a lot of people, what they do is they have some like spirograph computer generated image that just spins and turns or folds on itself, or falling dots, or lights moving around on the screen for the entire video. The odds are you're not going to be able to monetize that type of content because think of it from that advertiser standpoint again. If you were paying millions of dollars for ads, would you want your ads running on a video that the people didn't even have to look at? That really it's just the audio track, be it music or speaking, and the video image had absolutely nothing to do with the value of the content? An advertiser's not going to want to put their ad on that. So therefore, YouTube probably isn't going to monetize a channel that's that type of video. And the other thing that I mentioned, fair use, is a lot of people feel that what they're doing is fair use. And there's, I guess basically like 4 primary things, but there's a list of reasons. And fair use is case by case. You got to go to court, and the judge has got to say, in this instance, it's fair use, and the very next time, the ruling could go the other way. So case by case, fair use. And on the platform, it's between you, the creator, whatever you put on your video, and the entity, person, corporation, whatever that owns the content, if they feel that you're breaking, their copyright. And so to distill it down, fair use is if you're using content that is probably a derivative use, and that is not covered by fair use. That if you use copyright material, it's got to be transformative. You have to somehow, quote, transform it. So again, me talking, you create music on your instrument, you write a piece and you play it on your guitar, the piano, the saxophone, flute, whatever it is, and you put in images that, maybe you write a piece about zoos, and then you have pictures of zoos in that. Well, somebody owns those images, and just using them in your video is a derivative use. You haven't transformed them at all. You're just using them to go along with your music, and that isn't gonna cut it for being able to monetize. You have to actually parody, transform, change the words around, change the images, and it's not as easy as it sounds. So in my opinion, I would completely avoid that type of usage unless you really, really know what you're doing, or you have the ability to have legal counsel to help you out. If you want to use music in your videos, and music is a great thing to use, it really sets the mood and the pace. And I mean, imagine a lot of theater movies if they didn't have the music, because they start playing, and it's like, oh, I'm going to be, something bad's happening or something's good's happening or whatever. So music is really good to use and can truly enhance your video. But if you're going to use music, right now, today, the safest thing to do is use music that's in the YouTube music library that's available for commercial use. Because then you just don't have to avoid licenses. You don't have to, deal with YouTube wondering if you really can use that music. Do you really, really have the license and permission? Have 1,000 other people used that exact same piece of music in the way that you're using it? So, are you going to worry that you're going to get hit with reused content? And even though you've worked really, really hard at making your videos to get to your 4,000 hours and beyond, and you're planning to generate income with your channel, so, use that. So be as original as you can. Keep content to a minimum that you don't have, created yourself. Use music from the library. Avoid fair use issues. Don't try to be transformative and end up being derivative. And if you have any questions at all, I really am here to help you be successful on YouTube with your channel. So subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos, and watch another video so you can learn some more things about growing your channel and monetizing and enjoying life to the fullest.